see my screen, right? Or yes?
Just say something if you can't see it.
You can see it though, right, Maura?
I can, yes. So you're
All
good.
right. So, welcome to Marian University, the College Success webinar. Before we go any farther, the first thing I want to do is congratulate all of you guys for making it this far. Coming in, not having your high school diploma, working hard, coming back as an adult into online school can be really tough. It just can. And we want to congratulate all of you for making it this far, for graduating with your high school diplomas, and for taking the next step and moving on to college, where, you know, that's really what we've been working for here, is to get you to this point so that we can jump into the next level. And so before we go any farther, we just all want to say, from me, from Melissa, from Maura, congratulations. You guys are incredible. You're doing amazing things. We're going to make certain that you keep doing amazing things and that we go on to the next step here. So that's what this is all about. Congratulations. Let's look at
Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. Seriously, you guys deserve it. You're amazing. Not all students persevere the way that you guys have. It's a big deal to push through all of this. So great work.
Congratulations. Okay, with that being said, we're going to keep moving forward, and that's going to be kind of the theme of the next 3 or 4 years here, is how we move forward and what we're going to do. So getting started at Marian University. First thing is complete the financial aid process. Most to all of you have already done this. If you have not, you are most likely working with your enrollment counselor, either Maura or Anne-Marie, right now to finish this up. But that's going to be the first step. Most of you have already completed that.
Make sure you check your Marian email, because they will be contacting you if they need any additional information about your financial aid.
Yep. And we're going to talk a little bit more about financial aid as we go. The second step is to register for your classes. Again, most to all of you have probably already done this. If you have not, you are working with your enrollment counselor to make this happen right now. Part of the reason we're doing this a week early is because while the classes don't technically start until August 30th, which is not this Monday, but the next one, we want to make sure that we cover all of these pieces and get all of this sorted out before the actual start date. So if you come across anything that we talk about and you have questions about it, or you don't think it's been done or anything like that, please feel free to let us know so that we can make sure that you are totally ready to go for the start. But we're covering most of this with you initially anyways.
The only students who haven't registered are those of you who recently finished your classes, and we're still just waiting for that stuff to process. So don't stress about it.
But we know who you are. We're going to make sure that it happens. The next step is going to be to order your textbooks. So you get your funding in order, you get your classes lined up, and then what you're going to do is order textbooks. And again, we're going to talk about all this. And then the final step, like I was saying, big theme here, start early. We're going to push that really hard to do things early here in college, because you just kind of have to. And take it from someone who didn't always do things early. When I first started, it comes back to bite you pretty hard. And so this is also a piece of advice I like to give most of my students. If you hear me tell you not to do something, it's most likely because I did it and learned a lesson. So it's not coming from like a place on high where I think I'm this perfect person. I most likely made all of these mistakes, and I don't want you to make them. Okay, so getting started at Marian University, the first thing I'd recommend you do, once you're kind of set up and ready to go, jump on the website. Please jump on the website, play around with it, look at everything they have to offer. This was a really good starting place for me when I first started learning about the university. Jump in, look around. I mean, this is your school now. You're going here, you're attending, you are paying good money to be here. And so it's really important that you familiarize yourself with what you're doing and where you're going. Let me turn on my laser pointer here. One of the best places to start is My Marian, right up here in the left. So this is the home page. This is the first place you'll land. Go and click on My Marian, and it's going to take you to something that looks like this. And this is kind of like a home landing page for your personal portal. The first thing it asks you to do is sign in right up here. And it says that right down here. It says, please sign into your account, because that'll give you personalized information. You can look at your classes, registration, other things like that. But this is going to be kind of your main landing page. And there's a lot going on here. I don't want to cover too much of this, but go here. There's information about how to reset your password and things like that. There's bulletin boards, there's announcements. The access to the bookstore can be found right here. All sorts of other things.
So
Yes.
you guys should have all already reset your password when you set up your email. When you sign in at the top right-hand corner, your email button is going to pop up under useful links, and you can go through there to check your email. But I would also suggest, I've told my students this, for Anne-Marie students, make sure that you bookmark your email page when you open it up, because that will just make it a lot easier for you to check your email regularly. And I think, Grace, if you scroll down.
I can, it's a screenshot.
Oh, okay. On this page too, guys, on the left-hand side towards the bottom, there's an option to click on the like MO2, which is where you're going to be accessing your classes from. So just keep that in mind. This page is going to have most of the things that you guys are going to need for classes.
Yep. And to get to that again, right here, top left corner, straight from the Marian University website page. And she's exactly right. You should be bookmarking things because you're going to be doing this for, 3-4 years. And so you don't want to have to type this stuff in. When I was going to college, I bookmarked all of my college pages so that it's just super easy to get to, organized, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is your main landing spot. Make sure you sign in. And then like she was saying, down here, you can access your classes.
And just a little reminder that some students have had issues with, when it asks for your username, that's going to be without the @marianuniversity.edu. When it asks for your email, it is with the @marianuniversity. Just for login purposes, remember that the username doesn't have that @Marian.
And with your email, it's important that you check that often. That is how the school is going to communicate with you. That is how your advisors are going to get you your classes. If there's any announcements or major changes or anything important that comes through the school, they're going to send it to that email. And so it's really important that you get into the habit of either A, checking that like daily or every other day, or B, forwarding it onto your personal email. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can take one of these alternate email addresses and forward it to your main email that you check so that everything comes into one place. You can do whichever you would like, but a really important central theme of going to college is being adamant and proactive about checking your emails frequently. Okay, financial aid. We're not going to talk a whole lot about financial aid for a couple reasons. Number one, financial aid is personalized to each of you. And there are very specific rules about who can and cannot talk about financial aid. I cannot advise you on financial aid. This comes with a small caveat. If you are having financial aid issues and you feel comfortable about telling me about them, I would like to know so that I can be aware of how to advise you in terms of your classes and books and things like that, kind of where we're sitting as far as your schooling overall. But if you have specific questions about your FAFSA, your financial aid, your awards, anything like that, I'm going to send you to the financial aid office because I cannot advise you about them. So while I'd like to be informed, if you are comfortable about any financial aid issues so that we can talk about how that's going to affect your classes or things like that, please let me know. But generally, if you're having financial aid questions or issues, you need to contact the Marian Financial Aid office. Right now, you're working with Maura on a lot of this. When she kind of disappears from this equation a little bit down the road, that's how we're going to kind of process things. So for right now, you can feel free to go to Maura with these types of things if you have any issues or concerns, but in the future, it's going to be the office that needs to talk to you. And some of you may have already had communication with the financial aid office.
Yeah, I mean, those of you who've worked with me, I usually just send you guys directly to there because they're the ones that work with it. They can answer your questions a lot better than I can.
Yep.
On those things.
Yeah. So just a couple of important things for you guys to be aware of. And we're going to throw a lot of information at you during this webinar. So I tried to keep a lot of this kind of just general so that we're not bogging you down with a lot of facts and dates and things like that. But something really important about financial aid, it only lasts for a year. And so you need to complete your financial aid once a year. So in the future, as we're looking at starting and going into the next school year, you're going to have to do this again. And then the year after that, you're going to have to do it again because it only lasts for about a year. So just keep in mind, I know FAFSA is emotional turmoil for a lot of people, but it does have to be done once a year. It's nobody's favorite thing, let me tell you that.
You guys are
This is-
pros now, so you don't even have to worry.
yeah, it's still a pain. It's still any
Oh, it
government.
is.
This is just really important. You guys don't skip over the financial aid. It's how most, if not all of you, are paying for school. And so it's highly important that you do it. You make sure that it's set up the way that you want. Financial aid is a really, really important piece. So I guess basically I'm just telling you, don't skip over it and don't undermine it. This we already just kind of covered. Let me or your enrollment counselor or the financial aid office know if you have any FA issues or concerns. If you let me know about these concerns, I'm going to send you to the FA office for the advising. Again, I kind of like to be kept up to date if you're comfortable with doing that, just so I can advise you correctly on your classes and things like that. But generally, any questions or concerns are going to be directed there. In the future, Marian has all sorts of info as well about this. In fact, it's right on their main page. You see right here, tuition and financial aid. If you look down here, this was just a small screenshot just to give you an example, but they have guides and resources about how to complete it. They have their contact info for the FA office. Again, this is what I was saying about exploring this website. They have a whole drop-down menu right here for tuition and financial aid if you have questions or concerns.
I'm also going to put a link in the chat, guys, for fafsa.gov, because that also is like the main website and goes through pretty much every step of how to complete it, why you're completing it, what the different parts are. So use your resources to help answer your questions too. So I put that in the chat if you guys want to write it down or bookmark that website too.
Yep, she's exactly right. Okay, registering for classes. Marian University is a self-registration program, as most or all of you have found out or will find out. What this means is that nobody will do this for you. So for those of you who are just about to graduate or are pending grads right now, you're about to experience this process. For those of you who have already gone through it, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. But essentially, each term and semester, you need to go on to the Marian University website and portal and register yourself for classes. It is your responsibility to make sure that you keep going to school. I am here to help you. I'm here to remind you. I'm here to support you, whatever I can do to make sure that it happens, but I can't register for you. Your advisors can't register for you. You have to do it. And so we're going to look at kind of the school schedule in just a second, but you can expect me, because your classes are about 7 weeks long, generally, you can expect me to be calling you about every 3 or 4 weeks, making sure that you are registered for the next semester. And you're going to get real sick of me reminding you, but I'm going to tell you to do it early and to make sure that you're done with it. Most of you, if you have classes, your advisor, who is most likely either Tracy or Carol, has emailed you the course recommendations. And then Maura has sent you the instructions. We're going to look at those just briefly in just a sec. But generally, your advisors will email you the schedule. You go in, you just do that really quick self-registration process. Most of the time, it only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to just go in, click the courses and click add. And that'll add that to your schedule. I recommend that you sign up for just about usually a semester in advance. So if this is fall, we want you to get registered for what's called Fall 2. We're going to talk about that. And then as soon as spring registration opens, which I believe is October 25th, I want you to jump in and register as soon as you can, early. That was the theme of this, the presentation I told you, is we want you to do stuff early. We want you to register for classes as early as possible. This is kind of what it looks like. I don't want to go through too much of this, like intricate details, but essentially, this is kind of how it's going to work. You just log in, you're going to select your courses in the term, you're going to go through, you're going to add the course, you're going to search for it, add the course, click register, and it's just going to add it to your schedule. There's a couple more steps. There's a little bit more detail than that, but essentially you just go in and add these yourself. And again, we have this instruction sheet here for you. Most of you already have this. If you need help with this ever, please just let me know. I would be more than happy to jump on a call with you and walk you through this process to make sure that you get registered. So in the future, you're definitely not on your own. Please give me a call. We can walk through these steps together. But this is generally what it looks like.
Yeah, Anne-Marie and I also have like gone through this like a million times with students. So the SabreNet thing is found on the My Marian website on the left-hand side. So that website we said pretty much has everything. You're gonna need to log in with your username, so the one without the @Marian. And just make sure that it's you're registering for the online and for the fall one, just so you're not doing in person. Make sure that you choose online.
Yep. And if you ever need me to help review your schedule or look at what you've signed up for again, please let me know. I would be more than happy to help you sort that out. But
Screenshots help a lot. If you guys send us a screenshot, we can be like, yes, this is correct, or make sure you update this. So that's helpful to us a lot, to send us pictures of what you're seeing.
Yep. Most of the time, even if you don't send them to us, we're going to ask you for them.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you for it. So, but it's pretty simple, guys. Once you get the hang of this, you'll find that this honestly only takes you about 5 or 10 minutes once you do it once or twice. The most important part is just to make sure you're signing up for the online sections of things. Your advisors and I can help you with that. For right now, you guys should be good to go. You're working with your enrollment counselors. Most of you have already signed up. This is kind of information for in the future, but don't worry. I'll be around in the future to make sure that we do this together. I kind of just wanted to do a general overview. So this is a very, very, very basic breakdown of kind of what this looks like. Now, I said first 8 weeks. I said first 8 because there are sometimes small gaps in between one start or the other by a couple days. And this is just kind of an easier, more even breakdown. Your classes go for 7 weeks. And then there's maybe a couple days, give or take, in between when the next start occurs. So you have 3 main semesters. You have fall, which we're in right now. Then you have spring, and then you have summer. So when we say fall 1, we mean your first 7-week classes. And then those go for 7, 8 weeks. And then fall 2 starts. For Marian, October 25th is our next start. So these classes, I mean, it's the 19th right now. So that's essentially 2 months. These classes are going to go for 2 months. And then on the 25th, you're going to start your second set of classes. And this is how your schedule is going to go throughout the year. Spring 1 is going to go into spring 2, and then summer 1, summer 2. But basically, we're taking this in 7, 8-week chunks. The other thing I wanted to talk about with this, and a lot of you aren't going to like to hear this, but we really want you to go for summer semester. We highly recommend and encourage students to go for summer because it helps you get through class faster. And students that take breaks, students that take summer off, typically, a lot of times they won't come back. It is important to keep going through school.
And keep in mind too, guys, like you have been working during this process. A lot of you guys have kids, you have busy lives. Summer is also similar, but like you've been doing this the whole time with online classes. Like you're able to do it in addition to that other stuff that you have in your life. So there's no reason, to stop and possibly prevent yourself from continuing forward.
And you guys, it'll just help you get done faster. To be real, the end goal here is to get you to graduate. It's not to be in school forever. The point of this is not to take classes online for the rest of your life. The point of this is to get you graduated with the degree so that you can start making money, start getting the jobs you want, and achieve the goal that we set out for. And going for summer is crucial to that. In fact, this is one of those things where I made the mistake, and so I'm telling you not to do it. For my first 2 years in college, I was like, I'm gonna take summer off. I don't care. And then all of a sudden, my friends were almost graduating, and I was still like 2 years behind. You cannot underestimate like how much this will hurt you to take off in terms of how long it's going to take you to actually do this. So I'm not going to lie, going to school in summer is not super fun. It just isn't. You want to be outside doing fun things and playing around and going on vacation. And you still can if you plan things right, but going for summer is critical. So right now, even though we're in fall, I would plan on going into summer school next year. When you're making your plans, plan on being in school next summer. It will help you out a lot.
Yeah, and like Ray said, you can plan it around your schedule. You can like do your schoolwork in the morning or at night and still enjoy the sunshine and the nice days, with your families and stuff. And you, like he said, we're going to talk about planning more, but that's going to be something that's really going to help you be successful.
Yep. And if you want to take a vacation, you can. This doesn't mean that you can't not take a vacation. It just means you need to plan your school around it. Either work ahead or talk to your teachers or professors. It doesn't mean you have to put your life completely on pause. It just means that we need to shift our priority and our focus towards building your life around school. We'll talk about it. Textbooks, everybody's favorite subject. If you are unfamiliar with what an ebook is, ebooks are just electronic textbooks. They're just textbooks that are online. They are pretty much just like documents or PDFs that you can just scroll through. These are emailed to you. So if you ever purchase an e-textbook, it will just be emailed to you and you can just open it up on your computer. They're super handy. This is my preferred method of textbooks. They're cheaper. You don't have to deal with this physical stuff over here that can get damaged, like this gross corner, and then you get charged for that stuff, and then you have to sell them back. Get the e-textbook if you can. Your physical books are shipped to you, or if you live close to the school, you can go pick them up, but generally they're mailed. You will find some courses need textbooks. Others will be provided to you. You just have to check, and it just kind of depends on the class that you're taking. And we're going to look at that real shortly here. And guess what, guys? Your favorite theme, get your textbooks early. You do not want to be starting class without your textbook, and then you have to do your first assignment, and it's based on chapter 1. Get your textbooks as early as possible. We will work with you through this, and this is going to be the same thing where I'm calling you in 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm saying, hey, it's time to register for fall 2 or spring 1. Also, make sure you get your textbooks. And you're going to get real tired and sick of hearing me say that, but it's so important to order your textbooks early in case there's any problems or issues.
I would say for those of you who are going to be registered soon, think about getting those ebooks because you get access to them sooner and it will be, less stressful for you. I know for sure one of your teachers is providing the book for the first week in an ebook so that students who don't have their books can still get it. And then I know they're checking with the other teacher as well to see if they can do that. But the school mentioned that there's like this thing called interlibrary something where they share ebooks. So they were like, if you're really stressed about it, reach out to your enrollment counselor. So just let me or Anne-Marie know if you're having issues with getting your books or ebooks, and we'll make sure to get that set up for you.
And for me in the future as well, if you're, when Maura and Anne-Marie are riding off into the sunset, if you have other questions or anything in the future, please let me know and reach out to me. This is the stuff we want to help you guys with. You're not going to bother us. You're not going to I don't know, we're not going to think you're stupid or anything. Please let us know if you're having trouble with registration, with textbooks, with any of that stuff. That is what we are here to help you with. This is what the bookstore looks like. It's really pretty simple. A lot of you may have already had experience with this, but you can access it right from the Marian University website. They're going to ask you what school you're going to. They're going to ask you to select a term, fall 21, spring 2021, summer 2021. And then they're just going to have you enter the department and course information. So a lot of you are signed up for this class, Theology 201, in this section. And it's going to find you the book. This is just an example. I don't know if this is your book. Don't take this as gospel truth. I just wanted to provide you an example of what this looks like. But then you're going to see the book here. It's going to give you options to buy new and used. It's going to tell you, all this information. Now, this is really scary looking. There are alternatives.
Yeah, we've sent you guys a lot of other options with renting and things like that, and you can always look into those other options no matter what. The Marian Bookstore is always going to have the book that you need. It's not always going to be the least expensive option. But like Ray said, you can get the ebooks and you can also rent. I know I sent a lot of rental options to a lot of you guys, and you literally just rent them and send them back, and it's a lot less expensive. So, look. He has these resources up here right now: Chegg, Vital Source, eCampus. There's a lot of different netbooks I found, some rental options. do a Google search. Honestly, like my best friend is Google. All I do is like when you guys send me questions sometimes is I'll Google it and be like, wow, look, this thing popped up that I found. Like sometimes if you have questions, it's as easy as just Googling your options out there and figuring out, through research what your cheapest way of doing it for you would be.
She's not wrong. For my college experience, when I would see a book like this, and they're like, oh yeah, you can buy a physical copy used for $173. I was like, okay, bet fam, I'm gonna try something else. And I would go to Chegg, and I don't have an example of it, but Chegg, this is mine. Maura has her own. You can find your own. Mine was Chegg. I would go here, and they would say, oh, you can just rent the e-textbook online for 3 months for like $30. And I would say, yeah, absolutely. I don't need this in my life. I don't need a used copy of this physical textbook that I'm only going to read once. And they had an online e-rental option for like 30. I mean, literally, it would be that dramatic sometimes in price difference. So the rule of thumb with this, always look your books up here first. This is the official information. This is what you need. If you're feeling spicy and you want to go look somewhere else, take this information and go search it into somewhere else and see what your options are.
You want to always search the ISBN number because that will make sure that it pulls up the correct book and version, because sometimes it can have the same name, but you guys see how it's volume 1. So sometimes things have different volumes, and if you don't have the correct ISBN number, it might pull up a different volume. So just if you go to these websites, all I do is type in the ISBN number and I figure out there what the cheapest way is.
I would match the edition and the author too. If you search the ISBN, it'll pull up the right thing, but just do a double check. Just say, okay, 7th edition, go to Chegg, yep, 7th edition. Author is Fierro, author is Fierro. Okay, cool.
Carrie, okay, I see your question. Should you buy some books for certain professions? So every student's different with this. I do have some students that want to buy them because they're worried about renting and they're willing to spend more money on buying them. And also, if you're going into a certain profession and you know that you will use those books more than just for this one class, and you'll go back for the information and you'll use it more than that, then yeah, absolutely buy it. If you feel comfortable with that price and using that information more than just that one time, absolutely. But other students, I think, are more comfortable with not spending as much. And so those renting options work for them. But you can always buy them if that's a better option for you.
And that was a really good question.
Yes, good question.
That was a really good question. I kept some of my psychology textbooks to answer that question.
Yeah.
I sold a lot of mine, but I kept a lot of my psychology texts just because they were interesting to me. Sometimes I go back and reread them, not often, but
yeah. For teaching, I definitely kept some of mine. The thing that I would say about that, though, is like for teaching, for example, things are always changing. So even though I kept them a couple years down the line, they had a bunch of different, rules and things where that stuff didn't necessarily apply anymore. So I think it just depends.
Yep. That was a really good question. I want to pause for just a second. Does anybody, and open the floor, does anybody have any questions right now about not just textbooks, but anything that we've covered so far? Kind of just like a brief pause here. Anybody confused or got anything they want us to go over about what we've covered so far? Ooh, silence. I love it. That's the best answer. Silence is the best answer. Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
No worries. Cool. Moving on then. So sometimes you will pull up a course and it'll say something like this. There will not be a book available. It'll say course materials have not yet been determined. Check back soon for updates. Or it may say there is no text required for this course. In this instance, they just want you to check back soon. Maybe check every 2 or 3 days. And if it's getting close to the start and you still don't see a book, let your student success coordinator know. And I can look into it for you, or we can look at, maybe that course doesn't have something, or maybe they're just late. Sometimes there's different instances, but if you see something like this, just kind of keep checking back. Or it may say, if you're lucky, your course materials are provided to you. Marian does have quite a few classes where they will provide you with the materials that you need. And in that case, you lucked out. You don't have to buy a book, which is awesome. So you may see this. Okay. Accessing your courses. We already talked about how to get to them on that homepage. Your courses will be available 1 week before the start date. So next Monday, the 23rd, they're going to put your courses up and let you get into them. They do not technically start until the 30th, which is, when your first real assignments will be due. However, Marian is very adamant that you jump in the week before and start playing around with the course. Some courses may have pre-assignments where they want you to go in and like maybe set up something in the course or like introduce yourself to the class, like really like pre stuff, basic, kind of getting set up stuff. But if the start is August 30th, you should treat August 23rd as like the first week of the class. If the start is October 25th, like the fall 2 start is, you should treat that week before kind of as the start so that you can hit the ground running. If you miss the pre-week, it's not the end of the world. They're not going to kick you out of class. It will just maybe put you behind just a little bit. You can catch up. The start week is the start week. I mean, August 30th is the solid start, but they want you to be kind of hitting the ground running, doing things early 1 week before, just so you know. So it's very important next Monday, as we get you guys signed up and stuff like that, that you kind of start jumping into things. Now, if maybe you can't jump into your course until Wednesday, again, the start isn't until the 30th. You're still getting in some of that early time, but it's important that you do it a week early.
Maybe keep your enrollment counselor up to date on when you log in too, because, I know for me, I want to answer any questions that students have. I've even jumped on video calls with students to walk through the website with them so that students are more comfortable. So whatever you need, your enrollment counselor, me and Anne-Marie will be checking in next week to talk about that with you. So, expect to get questions on, okay, have you logged in? What do you have questions on? Let's talk about organization, things like that. So I would recommend trying to log in Monday or Tuesday if you can. We understand if you can't, but, we just want to make sure that you guys are organized and we can kind of talk about it and get any questions answered for you guys.
Yep. So the first thing I tell my students to do, and your enrollment counselors will say the same, is jump in and play around with the class. And what I mean by that is, number one, read the syllabus. Syllabuses or syllabi, whatever it is, are probably some of the least fun reading material you might encounter in your life. They are so important and so critical for how to be successful in college and a class. So while it's boring, and I know it's not what you want to do probably on a Friday night, read the syllabus for your courses. Your syllabus will tell you exactly what you're going to be doing in the course, what is required of you, what is expected of you, and how to be successful. Most syllabuses will tell you you need to be doing well on your quizzes and you need to do well on this final project if you want to pass this course. They'll tell you outright, usually in big, giant, bold letters. They're going to say there is a project due at the end of this and you need to make sure you do well on it. The syllabus will also have information about how to contact the professor, how they like to be contacted, how the class is graded. Read the syllabus, because here's the cool part about college. A lot of your classes are going to be different. They're not just going to be like what you did at Graduation Alliance, where it's pretty much cookie cutter, 30 assignments per thing. You got 6 activities and 15 quizzes, and that's how every single class goes. That's not what college is. The cool part about college is that you get a unique, specialized experience with each class because they're all formatted a little bit differently for the learning material. So just as a brief example, some classes might have, 50 small quizzes throughout the 8 weeks. Every 2 or 3 days you're doing a quiz. Another class, like maybe an English or a writing class, will have you put together one big research paper. And there's only 6 assignments for the class. They want you to write an introduction, a paragraph or a body, and do your citations. And, there's only 6 assignments, but they're each worth 500 points. That's just an example. But each of your classes are going to be different. And so it's important. The first thing that you do is jump in, read the syllabus, play around with the class, click on stuff, see how things work, see how the class is formatted. Take the first time that you log in to familiarize yourself with what you're going to be doing and how it works. It's really important. Check for announcements. Check for your preferred contact method and required textbooks. I didn't even read this, and I was just saying it verbatim. It's because it's important, and I give this advice a lot. Jump in, play around with your classes. Read your emails. Again, really, really important that you check your school email and that you're on top of that. Class announcements will come up. Your professor will have a place to announce things to the class like, hey, it's Christmas, so I decided to be nice and cancel your exam. That only happened to me like once, but that was the best Christmas ever.
Yeah, you guys are, sorry to interrupt you, Race, but you're going to be able to read the announcements on the class website. And also there's going to be a spot for you to even message your instructor directly if you need to do that through the portal itself. So, you know, like we said, we'll play around with it. You play around with it, make sure you get it. But like, we're here to answer questions. But honestly, everything's going to be there for what you need. So the more you kind of play around and understand it, the better.
They've made it easy as they possibly can. This isn't meant to be complicated. Once you guys jump in, you're going to see everything that we're talking about, and you're going to go, oh, well, they over-explained this way too bad. This is so easy. There's a thing here. There's a thing here. You click here, and you do your assignments on time. Like, here, okay, so if you take anything away from this slide, this is the most important part. When the class actually starts, on August 30th, or October 25th, the actual start date, you need to log in and submit an assignment within the first 3 days. Otherwise, Marian will conduct what is called a forced administrative drop, and they will drop you from your class if you don't show activity by logging in. Because they don't want you to be charged for the class if you're not going to do it. This is to actually help you and prevent financial loss on your side, but it is super, hyper, really critical that you log in the first 3 days, sometime in the first 3 days, and submit assignments and show activity. And they give you the 3 days. You know, we're all adults with working lives. You should make school a part of your daily routine, but if something happens and you can't log in on Monday, they give you Tuesday. And if something is really happening and you can't log in on Tuesday, they still give you till Wednesday to jump in and submit an assignment. But on Thursday and Friday, they're going to start looking at course logs and things. And if you haven't logged in and submitted your first couple of assignments, they're going to drop you. And we don't want that to happen. So you have some time. This is part of logging in early, like we were talking about, logging in that week early and saying, okay, this is what I have to do. I can start planning for this early. That's the theme of college, is early. And if you're like me, you hate things that are early, but that's just what we're doing here.
I'm pretty sure too, guys, you may have the ability to do some discussion posts in your classes as well this week coming up. They give you access to those small discussion post assignments. So you already have practice in doing this in high school. You've posted your own and then made comments on other students. And that will be your same requirement for college, for you to post your own response and then also respond to other students. So keep in mind that you may have even access to certain assignments to start doing next week. So look into that too when you're looking into your class and your syllabus. Like, if you can get anything done next week, get it done then, so that you have even less to worry about when class actually starts.
Yep. I want to pause here. We're going over a lot of stuff. Let's take a short breather. Anybody got any questions at all? Wow.
Is there a certain time of the day that you have to be logged in?
Excellent question. No. That is the beauty of online school, is that if you have signed up for the correct course and the correct section, there should not be a required time that you need to log in.
Okay.
If there is, if you log into a course and you see that there is a time that they are saying you need to be on a Zoom meeting at 9 a.m., let me know. Let's talk about it. Let's get you in the right section, or let's make sure that it's, you know, if there's another course we can get you in, whatever it is. Or if you can make that, you know, if you do accidentally sign up for a course and they are requiring you to log in and that's not a problem for you, we can leave it. But for the most part, you should not be required to be logging in at any specific time to be in class. That's kind of the point of online school, is that we're all busy working adults, and the school recognizes that you don't always have time to be at a Zoom meeting at 9 a.m. You know, you just don't. So the short answer is no, you should not be required, but double check it. You know, It's always important to jump in and check and make sure that you're not being required for that sort of thing. But that's what we're here to help you with. If you see that, let us know. We'll work through it with you.
But yeah, that should not be the case.
Nope. Excellent question. Who's got another one? I wish I had like the Jeopardy music I could play. Okay, cool. Well, then we're gonna go right on ahead. You guys are doing fantastic. I promise you we're not gonna go on for too much longer. We do have some other things to cover, but we're gonna keep going. Okay, dropping classes. Now this is really important. Before you drop, please don't just drop your courses. There are consequences to dropping your courses. Number one, college, and I'm gonna show you this real fast. College has a refund deadline. So this means that the further you go into your course with Marian University, the more you are going to be charged and the less they're going to be able to give back to you. As an example, for the first week, I have a picture of this on the next slide. It's a 90% refund. So if you guys drop on August or maybe like September 3rd on the Wednesday of the first week, they're going to give you 90% of your tuition back and charge you the 10. If you drop in the second week, I think it drops to 75% of the money back. The third week drops to 50. And then if you drop in the fourth week of class, they're just going to charge you for the classes. You do not get a refund. And
so there may be times, guys, where we're like, I would not recommend this because you're going to be losing money. And it would just make more sense to keep pushing through the class because we don't want that for you.
No, you don't want to, that sucks. You don't want to be charged for a class that you're not getting credit for that you don't complete. But this is something really important to keep in mind when you're thinking about this. Is this class a prerequisite? Prerequisite just means the class is required prior to taking another class. So for instance, if I had the pleasure of torturing any of you with algebra and geometry, I made you take algebra first because algebra is a prerequisite for geometry, meaning you have to take it before you take geometry to be able to be successful in geometry. So just think about, if I drop this class, am I going to have to retake it before I take another class?
So similar to how Race was explaining how he took summers off and then behind his friends, like it would be similar to that. You would be pushed back with your because of that.
Yep. Think about why you really want to drop this class. And then I guess these aren't in order, but talk to me about it. I will never yell at you. I'm never going to shame you for dropping a class. What I'm going to do is see what we can do to work through it. Because again, the goal here is to graduate you, to get you to the finish line. And by dropping courses, we just set ourselves back and we really push ourselves further and further away from that end goal. So think about why you really want to drop a class. Is it because you're overwhelmed? Okay, let's figure out what we can do to make your schedule easier. I'm pretty good at taking a scalpel knife to people's schedules and lives and saying, okay, well, we can make some time here. Or maybe you could use, this resource to make some time for this. I had a student who cut his hand open and he's like, I can't do these courses. I have to drop. I can't write. And I said, well, why don't you just use a text to speech app where you can just talk to your computer? And he said, oh my gosh, I've never thought of that before. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, I could do that. And I was like, yeah, you can just talk to your computer nowadays and it will make your text. You don't have to type or write. And we saved his course. Mm-hmm. Think about if you're dropping because you're overwhelmed. Are you dropping because you're struggling in the class? That's when you should really call me. Please, that's my job, is to help you. If you're struggling, you say, I don't get it. I'm behind. This is too much. Call me and let's work through it together. I'm here for you, for that. That's my job, is to help you work through these issues. So think about why you really want to drop.
Yeah. And so I can't tell you guys the amount of times that people have dropped because of being overwhelmed. And I'll say a few things about this. Again, you guys have already pushed through so many stressful, overwhelming situations going through high school. So you have already been able to do this, and you need to make sure to remind yourself of that, because honestly, it's not going to be easy. Life is stressful. Things that, take time to do and are difficult are worth it in the end, with all the benefits that come from it. And so we want you to talk to us because we're going to remind you that you can do this. You can absolutely do this. You've already done it before. Elizabeth, yes, there is tutoring available. I believe there is tutoring through the website, and you can get those resources there. I can go ahead and send you those resources on Monday if you remind me.
I got a slide for this.
Oh, perfect. Race is prepared, as always.
But excellent question. Yes, there is tutoring. There are resources available for you. We're going to cover that in just a little bit. If we don't answer your questions there, let us know. But again, that's another thing that I'm here for. If you need tutoring and you can't find it, or you have questions, I will find tutoring for you. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of us are like previous teachers, and again, there's so many videos and stuff online and like things that we can send you to help. So
we'll figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
We'll figure it out. Last point with this slide is really important. Honestly, I should have highlighted this one. Dropping your classes may impact your financial aid. And I will not advise you as far as how this will work specifically, because I can't. It's different for everybody. But you need to really consider if dropping a class will impact your financial aid, because for some or most of you, there is a requirement of how many classes you need to take to qualify for whatever financial aid you have been granted. So if you have questions about this, call the financial aid office. But the big important thing here is, if you're thinking about dropping, will it impact your funding for next semester? How much are you going to be charged? Things like that, stuff to consider. Okay, I'm not going to spend too long on this, but this is a breakdown that I found on the Marian website of what this refund policy looks like. And I nailed it. It's 90, 75, 50. If you drop in these weeks, this is what they are going to refund you. So if you drop in the third week, you're only getting 50% of your money back. After the third week, there is no refund. And so it's very important to consider these things before you drop. There's real consequences to it. Okay, this slide I don't want to spend too long on, because we have been hammering you guys about this for the entire duration of your high school career here with us. But if you want to get here, if you want to be the person in this picture, you need to maintain a good academic standing. You got to keep your grades up. Generally, and again, it may sometimes depend on the person and the student, but generally, you need to keep your GPA above a 2.0. That's what we were trying to get you guys to do with that 80% in high school. That's what Marian is expecting of you. You cannot coast by and get your degree on Ds. They won't let you do it. They may take academic disciplinary measures against you. They may kick you out of school entirely, depending on how bad it is. But you cannot just get Fs and Ds and graduate. Really, we're looking for As and Bs here, guys. You want to have a good GPA. Now, with that being said, if you get a D occasionally for one semester, like maybe math is just really rough and you got super sick and you complete the class with a D, and it's your first D in a sea of Bs and As. Get it? Sea of Bs and As. Not a big deal. You can take a D. It happens. It's okay. What I'm really saying here is you can't just get straight Ds and expect to stay in school. So I'm not going to harp too much about this, because you guys should already be aware of this, as we've gone through a lot in high school. But you need to get good grades in college. This is important. This is the real deal. This is what we were training you for. This is what we were getting you practiced and prepped for, is to be successful here. So good grades.
What I always think is the best question to ask is, are you putting in your best effort? Okay. And I'll give an example. Like when I was in high school, I was in trigonometry, and I worked so hard in that class, and I got like a C-, and it was the lowest grade I'd ever gotten. And I was not happy with it, but I was like, I did literally the best that I could possibly do. And that you have to be able to say that, because it also helps you, be proud of yourself to know that like you put in your best effort. If you didn't do that and you got a low grade, then you have the knowledge of being like, well, I know I didn't try as hard as I could. So just always ask yourself that question. If your best effort is getting a D, that's fine with us. We want you to do the best that you can and use the resources that you can. So going back to, your resources, your teachers are going to be grading all your work. You can email them. You can message them through the portal to ask them questions. Race also is going to talk about the tutoring that they have available. You have Race to talk to about if you have questions. You have me to talk to in the first couple weeks of college, you know, if you have questions for me. But Race is going to be your main person for college. But, you know, like you have all of these resources available to you. And part of being a good college student is using those resources and asking questions and realizing that there's no bad question to ask.
She's exactly right. And we are going to cover that, I think, now. Yep. That was a great segue. Well timed. Okay, we're on the last half of it, or last quarter of this, really, guys. You've been real troopers. We've covered a lot of kind of complex information. Thank you for hanging in there. We're going to wrap this up shortly. I promise you. This is probably the most important part of all this. So stick with me for just a little bit longer before I jump into this last little bit and we send you on your way. Any questions for right now so far? If you guys see me dancing, I'm playing the Jeopardy music in my head. No? Okay. All right. Really fast, and I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but I wanted to break down what a school schedule might look like. And this is really general. This is like if you work a night shift. So if you work from 3 to 11, this is what it might look like on a daily basis. And this is how I want you to kind of start thinking about this. 8 a.m., you wake up, you get ready, you prepare for the day, you take care of your family, your kids, whatever you need for 2.5 hours until 10:30. And from 10:30 until 2:30, you're working on school. That's a solid 3-4 hours of time every day right here. Then at 2:30, you drop everything, you eat some food, you get ready, you go to work. You work from 3 to 11. Then you come home, and since you've already done your schoolwork, when you come home at night, you get, an hour or so. And if you go to bed at 12, wake up at 8, you're still getting 8 hours of sleep. It is possible to take care of your family, to work a full-time job, and to go to school. It's tough. I will be so 100% honest with you about it. It's tough, but you guys have already been doing it. And if you schedule your life out and plan ahead, you can do it. And we say log into school every day. That's to get you habituated to that. If you're logging into school 5-6 days a week, you get free days. I promise you get free days. Now, I have these on Saturday and Sunday just as kind of a visual thing. Most likely this is like log in Monday, Tuesday, maybe take Wednesday off, log in Thursday, Friday, take Saturday off, start again Sunday type deal. But generally, if you're planning and putting in 3 hours of school a day, 2-3 hours of school a day, generally you'll find you only need about 5 or 6 days a week. And then you get a free day. You get a day to just be a human and to do whatever you want and to do laundry and to clean your house or whatever it is.
Talk to your people about your schedule too, guys, and be like, hey, I need to find time in my schedule to do school. What is our schedule like? When can I fit in? Like, talk to your people around you because they also need to know that this is important to you. And, I know a lot of you guys take care of other people in your life and you deserve to have, this thing for yourself that you're working towards for you. And you need to make sure that you remind people in your life, like, this is important to me. And we need to make sure that we set up time to figure out when I can do this for myself.
She's exactly right. Use your support system around you if you have it. If you don't, you can still make this happen. Like, for instance, if you are working the day shift, a regular 9-to-5 job, 7:30, you wake up, you get ready, you get your family ready, you go to work, you get your kids all sorted, you make them breakfast, you send them off to school, you hit work at 9 a.m., you do the 9-to-5 thing, you get off at 5. Guess what? You have 2.5, sometimes even 3 hours to come home, make dinner for your family, take care of the kids, help them with their homework, take them to the baseball game, whatever it is. And then 7-8 p.m., you log on to school as things are winding down. And, from 7 to 10, you get this 3-hour chunk to work on school. Or maybe it's 8 to 11. You get a 3-hour chunk every day to work on school. And then you get off at 11. Maybe if you're tired, you go to bed. Or maybe you get an hour or 2 of personal time and you stay up till 12 or 1 and you still get, 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep and you wake up and you do it again. These are long days. I would never lie to you about that. But that's what it takes to balance work, life, and school is long days. When I was doing school, my days were 14 hours long. I would wake up and go to school from 9 to 12 for 3 hours. I was actually going in person. And then I would get off at 12, come home, like hang out and make food or whatever for a minute, and then go to work from 2 to 10. And I'd get home at, 10:30 at night, and I was exhausted, but that's work and school. That's just an example. I'm not going to spend too much more time on this, but what I'm saying is it's important to schedule out your time like this. Make something like this, and I can help you with this if you want, but make something like this where you can find a dent in your day to set aside 2 or 3 hours for school and make that your school time. Make that the time where every day you're saying, nope, it's 7 p.m. I've taken care of everything else. I got to log on to school. This is just an example. It doesn't have to look like this. If your days vary, we can work on that. But this is kind of what a schedule of balance looks like. This includes family, work, and school. So it can be done.
Yeah, and talk to us, guys. We can help you put together a schedule. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed about it, we can talk you through it.
I'll do this for you. I'll say, okay, when do you got to work? All right. When do your kids get picked up from daycare? Okay, let's find time. We'll do this with you. Okay, this is a lot about what Maura has been talking about, is self-advocacy. Self-advocacy is speaking up for what you need. Nobody cares more about your education than yourself, and that's true. As much as I want to, I can't log on and do your classes for you. I can't sign up for your classes for you. I can't do your homework for you. I can't read that textbook for you. You got to do it yourself. I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you every step of the way as much as I can. But at the end of the day, I can't do it for you. And the same is true about helping yourself. I am here to check in on you, to support you. But if you're struggling in a class and you don't answer my calls and you don't call me, I can't help you. I just can't. There's just no way. And I don't know that you need help. So if you're struggling in your classes, that's the time to call or text me, or that's the time to reach out to your professor and say, hey, I am really far behind. I don't understand this. I need help. That's what self-advocacy is. You see, she's raising her hand because she has a question. If you have questions, if you need help, if you fall behind, speak up for yourself. Fight for yourself. Fight for your education. That, might sound a little combative or a little bit negative, but it's true. You're going to have to fight for this. You guys are going to have to fight for your time. You're going to have to fight for your grades. You're going to have to fight sometimes even yourself when you wake up and you don't want to do it. School is a fight, and you got to do that. You got to do it yourself because nobody's going to stand up and do it for you. So that's what self-advocacy is. It's about standing up for yourself. That's pretty much what this says. And then academic resources. This is what I really wanted to talk to you about. So your support staff, as we've been talking about, number one, your instructors, your professors, they're there to help. They are not the enemy. They're not there to make your life hard. They are there to help you. That's their job, is to teach you this and find ways to teach you this and get you through. Your academic advisors, this is going to be Tracy and Carol for almost all of you. These are the guys setting up your schedules and kind of the backbone of your program guidance in terms of here's how to navigate through your degrees. There's me, your student success coordinator. I'm kind of this weird like hybrid position of I'm like a coach and a counselor and an advisor and sometimes I do tutoring and sometimes I'm here to just be emotional support or make stupid jokes so you can laugh at me. I do everything. And then your enrollment counselor. So you have so many people here to help you. But we can't help you if you are not ready and willing to help yourself by at least communicating with us as a base step. Academic resources. Marian has this right on their homepage. There's quite a bit here, but this is what she was talking about. This is called the Case Center. I don't remember exactly what it stands for, but this is their academic resource center. If you need tutoring, if you need help in a class that I can't help you with or your instructor can't help you with, this is the place to go. Marian has it built right in. I had a student just recently who was really struggling in a philosophy course. She reached out to the Case Center and they got her set up with a tutor the next day, like a personal philosophy tutor who was like a master's degree in philosophy who met with her and started tutoring her. There's help for you guys. They have a tutor program. They have a math and science center. They have reading services, writing services. So if you struggle with reading and writing, they can help you. They have all of this built right into their school. If you need help getting in contact with any of this, let me know. If you're struggling in a class, let me know. But there are tons of things here to help you out through your classes. This is me. I just wanted to show you this to let you know that I am a human person. I have a really fat cat who refuses to go on a diet. I play guitar. I'm just like you guys. I went to school. In fact, I even dropped out of college once. And so if you ever feel bad about trying to contact me, or you have questions, you need help, just know that I'm like a real person. I'm not just here like, to like go through the motions and just give you boring advice. I'm here to help guide you through a process that I myself have been through, and to make sure that your experience is good.
Do you have a tortie cat?
I do. Her name is
my
Mom.
God. My sister has a tortie.
Torties are the best cats, except for when she's hungry. If I put her on a diet and she gets hungry, she starts eating my plants, and she starts eating like different, like she'll start gnawing on the table.
She's really cute.
She's way cute. This is Carol. She is one of your advisors, for most of you. I just wanted to give you pictures and let you guys know that these are real people on the other ends of these emails trying to help you out. They're real. Tracy Marks is the other advisor for many of you. She's also a professor. A lot of you are going to have Professor Marks in a couple of your first classes. So just so you know that kind of who these guys are, what they do, things like that. All right, we're almost done. This is actually, I think, pretty much the last slide. This is kind of what we were talking about when we say reach out to the people around you too. You have so much support here at the school, but reach out to each other and build a community. All of you on this call right now are all starting class together. You're all starting this journey together. In fact, most of you are going to all be in the same classes together. If you are comfortable with it, if you guys want to, I highly recommend you get to know each other. These are your classmates. These are the people that are on the exact same journey as you. It can feel really isolated going to online school. It can feel like you're alone, especially in high school where we don't have a lot of connection. We're working on that, but it can feel like you're doing this on your own. I promise you, you're not. I have 170 students who are all working through the exact same thing as you right now. You guys are all starting this journey together. Make the most of that. That sounds kind of cheesy, like, oh, friendship will get you there, but it will.
Because also you guys are feeling a lot of the same emotions about starting. There's nerves, there's excitement, there's all these things that come along with it. So it's nice to like talk to other people who are experiencing the same things, and I think a big way that you can also communicate with each other is on those discussion posts in class too. Like that's a big way that you guys can be like, hey, this is my opinion. What's yours? And you can even message each other privately if you guys want to introduce yourselves in the portal or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I've had students get together and form study groups. I've had students get together and meet at coffee shops because they found out that they were next to each other. And it's a huge support. I made tons of friends in school that helped me through classes. And it's, on kind of a more superficial note, networking is a huge deal in college. And you guys might laugh at that too. Aside from just getting through it, once you get out, a lot of the friendships and connections you made here will benefit you later in life. People that you meet and know and get to know in college and help out, they might go get hired at a nice company. And the company says, hey, we need to hire 2 or 3 people. And they say, well, I know this fantastic person that graduated with the same degree as me. And then boom, a job offer pops up. Or you might, you might hire one of your friends. That sounds kind of weird. It sounds kind of superficial, but it's real. A lot of, the real world is about who you know and the opportunities that you can use through those connections. Now, is that the only reason you should make friends? No, you should do it to help get you through this and things like that. But I would be lying to you if I said that there were not real world benefits to getting to know these people around you and making real connections. That's what LinkedIn is. You guys know the social media site LinkedIn? That's what it is. Like, these are people I know in the professional world that, we can help each other grow professionally. You guys are going to take the same classes. You're going to graduate around the same time. These are your people. These are the people that are going through exactly what you are right now.
Mm-hmm. And Race is right, guys. It really is a lot about people that you know.
Which kind of sucks. But
it does kind of suck. It's annoying that that's the case. But, I feel like I've gotten a lot of interviews because of people that I know. It doesn't mean that you get the job because of the people you know, but you can at least get your foot in the door with the interview. And that's a big deal. So
it really is.
Yeah.
It
So
really is.
it is important. And yeah, it is annoying that that's the case in a lot of situations, but it really does help a lot.
I can't tell you how many of my friends I catch up with after not seeing them for like a year. I'm like, what do you do now? And they're like, oh, I have this incredible job making 120K a year, like flying airplanes over the Bahamas. Not really, but I'm like, how did you get that job? And they're like, oh, my uncle's friend needed someone. Or, they're like, oh, my neighbor was hiring for his business. So I just start, it's about who you know. And it's about getting through to the end as well. So if you're comfortable, reach out to each other. These are the people. So that's it, guys. We've made it to the end. I promise no more slides after this. I just wanted to end with this one last quote by Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Sounds kind of cheesy, but it's true. When you educate yourselves, when you learn about the world around you, when you learn about the people around you, that's where change comes from. The more you know, the better your life will be, I think, in most cases. And so really, we're trying to get you to graduate here. That is the end goal, but you're getting something incredibly valuable. And, to be honest with you, I'm just going to leave you with this one last little bit. A lot of what I got out of college wasn't necessarily the on-book education. It was about what I learned about myself through going through this experience. It was hard. It was hard as hell, you guys. I'll just be real with you. It's not super easy to do, but if you can do it, and if you can work through it and push yourself, what I really learned about college and myself and education is how much I grew and changed into somebody that I was proud of. That's what I wrote in my graduation speech. I almost stood up in front of my entire graduating class and I was like, I don't care about the degree. I am so happy with who I transformed into. And I just want to give that to you as kind of a way of thinking that education may not necessarily always be about textbooks. Education can be about what you learn about yourself, what you learn about your power in the world, about who you can be, about what you can achieve, things like that. So that's it. We're going to open the floor now for questions, but you guys have been excellent in sticking around with us, asking what you need to. So how are we feeling, guys? Good? Marnice is nodding. Good, cool. Does anybody have anything, any burning desires, any like huge gaps, anything that they've really got a question about?
So you can log in at any time. So you also have, you can log in on the weekend too. Okay, because I'm getting ready to start a new job and I get the flexibility of making my schedule. So I was kind of trying to set time for like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do classes too. That's okay to do that.
Yep. So the most important part, you can log on the weekend. You can log on at 3 a.m. in the morning. You can log on at 10 a.m. It doesn't matter. The most important part is that you hit your due dates and you get everything done on time.
Okay.
Just make sure, Marnice, to remember about that like 3-day drop thing. So just make sure the first week you log in the first 3 days and do at least one assignment so they can see that you're doing it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I needed to know.
Yep. And if you're planning on doing mostly Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I would definitely recommend you log in at least once on
Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever it is. Just so you can keep up with things.
Okay. No problem.
Good question.
I can most definitely do that. That was my question.
That's it?
Yeah, that was my main concern. Is knowing I'm to make sure I can be able to have time to do it.
Sure. Anything else? Anybody? I mean, it's okay if you guys don't have questions. I just want to make sure that you're like totally good to go. Elizabeth is good. Dara, you feeling good? I'm gonna take that as a yes. Okay. Well, if you guys are feeling good,
I couldn't find how to take it off mute. I'm sorry, but yes, I'm feeling good about it.
Okay, cool. No worries. No worries. If you guys have anything else that pops up, you have questions, you can hit us up privately. We'd be more than happy to help you out. If there's anything else you need, let us know. We're going to start working towards this start here in the next week or so, getting you ready. And we're going to be here for the whole thing. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm sorry we ran a little bit over, but it was all really important. Yeah, it was all really important
Thank
stuff.
you so much for coming. I hope it helped you guys to get this information.
It did. It helped me a lot.
Perfect.
Good. Glad to hear it.
You are free to run off into the night.
All right. Thank you.